Let's see, are we live?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Hey, everybody, how we all doing?
Hello.
We are here, and we are on time. A trend that I am liking. Are we on?
I think so. Hang on. Yep.
Let's see.
We are indeed on.
Where'd the chat go? Oh, there we go.
Yes, there's always a slight lag.
Well, anyway, how we all doing? Woo!
Everybody is doing well, it seems.
Excellent.
At least everyone's saying woo and I'm good and that sort of thing. I am tweeting a screenshot of that comment that I posted.
Oh, really?
Or that you posted for me. Just in case he deletes it.
I see a Jax YT. Hello. Hello, Sally, or Sarah Altieri. Hello, Sparkpad. Not sure how 2 + 2 = 69, but there you go. Am I going to review Transformers 5? I'm not at liberty to say. All I can say is keep on watching. Better bump into it sooner or later. Tomorrow is Ian Sweeney's birthday. Happy early birthday, Mr. Sweeney.
Claire, as a mother of a teenager and an almost 21-year-old, I can tell you that overprotectiveness, that just comes with the territory. It doesn't matter how old your kids get, you still want to protect them.
They're always your baby.
Yes.
It's not overprotective, that's just called being a mother.
Or in her case, she was talking about her dad, so.
That too.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox says that I should read Fox and Socks. Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? A whole story just about you.
Oh, I hope you feel better, some dude who draws.
Yeah.
Don't be so hard on your mom. You're out of the house for the first time, Mr. Critical. You're in, you've gone to college and she misses you. And she's worried about you because you're not at arm's reach anymore. It's hard for us moms to deal with that. Mine's getting ready to move. My oldest is getting ready to move into their own place where they're going to be with their fiance and their friends and a gazillion animals. And I am dreading it. And at the same time, I'm so ready.
They'll be wanting to come back home in a month.
And then they can. Always ready.
I already got a request here to do Snowden the Snowman.
Yeah, we didn't get to that last time.
Who is somehow creepier than Herbert from Family Guy.
Do.
Great, now I gotta throw this out there. Since this is kind of sort of on the table. It's called a hustle, sweetheart. I should read the monster at the end of this book.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's just what Super Mario Fan suggests I do. Hello, Paladin. How you doing? Oh, God. I say it on two fronts. One, is Cool Cat cool? No. No, he is not. I got an idea for Bobsheaux Christmas. Home Alone 4. Ugh. Please don't.
Claire, I went to senior prom as a freshman. It was a junior senior prom, and I was dating a junior as a freshman. So, yeah, my dad wasn't thrilled with it either. The only prom I missed was my senior one because I was already in college. I got early admission to the university, so I went over Christmas break. I started in January instead of graduating from high school.
I didn't go to my prom. When you're dateless, what's the point?
Well, you would have looked very nice.
Would I have?
Mm-hmm.
With my freakish long hair that just turned everybody off.
Oh, hadn't you cut your hair by then?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I cut my hair, so even still, I wouldn't look absolutely gorgeous because I'd be looking like this. I hate all of you.
No, you'd be looking like you did up in your graduation photo.
No, see, I was happy with my graduation, because, hey, I'm done. I'm out of here. Woohoo! Put me in that kind of environment with those kind of people, with this kind of reaction to me. Go die. Yeah, high school wasn't all sunshine and flowers.
Not for me either.
Mr. Critical asks, do I still work as a pizza guy? Sadly, yes.
Not sadly.
No?
Because you got transferred to the store you wanted to work at, with the boss that you like,
True.
who thinks you're awesome.
True.
Money is getting better now that the summer slump is over, and it's just temporary anyway.
Yeah. I was about to say, though, it doesn't have to be that way. Let's keep on donating and sharing my Patreon.
In case that was proven to be that was a hoax.
Yes, they are not making another Alpha and Omega movie where they go to the tropics, but but how easy was it for somebody to troll the fan base by making a fake title card like that? That is how little the Alpha and Omega people care about their product. They are so slipshod in their work that any schmuck can just spend 5 to 10 minutes in Photoshop making a brand new title, and even if it sounds so stupid and ridiculous, we're gonna believe it. Because we have seen stupid and ridiculous titles for this franchise before. Alpha and Omega Tropical Vacation? Yeah. Sounds legit. I believe it. And if it was like Star Wars Tropical Vacation, that'd be... what? No. But yeah. Alpha and Omega, they would stoop that low.
I just looked up this Decker Shadow guy that they're talking about.
Decker Shadow guy?
He calls
what?
himself the internet... What is it? Hang on. Decker Shadow calls himself the internet personality with the best hair. I must differ. I must disagree. His hair is fine, but it's not my Bobsheaux.
Oh, step. It's just a ponytail. How fine is this?
It wasn't in a ponytail when I was there in August.
You're welcome.
I kept taking it out. I kept playing it.
You mean like this?
Oh no. I can't take it.
Oh.
Oh.
And suddenly I'm starring in an Herbal Essences commercial. Oh,
Sue,
yes.
you're absolutely right. Long hair does not necessarily mean that it's beautiful. In fact, I fell in love with Bobsheaux when his hair was very short. And I think he looks adorable. And very handsome.
Oh, yeah, it's adorable because that's what all guys like being called.
Oh.
Just like how ladies like being called the C word.
And that's the end of my presence here. Goodbye, guys. I've been insulted. I'm leaving.
No!
I'm doing okay, Paladin Frost. Thank you.
All things considered. Yes, we're both doing good. Oh, she's not really leaving critical.
Okay, we have our second voice suggestion. Don't forget, guys, throw out voice suggestions.
Yes.
I can't spell. Your favorite Barbie movie. There's so many to choose from.
The Great Puppy Adventure was watchable. I can't believe that. I shouldn't be enjoying a talking dog movie from frickin' Barbie more than I am Disney. With the Air Buddies. Ugh. Disney. We shouldn't be outdone by Barbie. Come on.
Disney doesn't always hit true.
I know, but so many misfires in the same franchise. Come on.
Did you hear that Chicken Run was getting a sequel next year? I did not.
How does Chicken Run get a sequel?
I don't know.
Yeah. I saw Stat
Have
Wars.
we seen
That
the
sucks
trailer
too.
for the new Lady and the Tramp?
Oh, God.
Did we see it?
No.
I want to see it.
We didn't see Cats either.
We didn't have time.
Stop with the remakes.
Never.
Ugh.
Who's excited? Oh, hang on.
Who's excited? I don't know.
I'm sorry, I was reviewing a comment. Let's see. Who is excited for Frozen 2?
So much excitement.
I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed Frozen. Not because it was perfect, but because I thought it was pretty good.
Life is not some cartoon musical where you sing a little song and all your insipid dreams magically come true. So let it go.
I want Zootopia 2.
Oh my God, so much more potential for a sequel in that.
I am ready. Is it happening?
I heard it's in the works.
They would be foolish to not.
Really? Oh, yes. And looking forward to Joker as well. That's going to be amazing. Let it go, flashbacks intensifies. No! Ah!
Let it go, let it go.
Nobody actually listens to that song? How could a song about letting it go become such a freaking earworm? How does that work?
Judging by the trailer, Joaquin Phoenix can definitely pull off the Joker. I'm so ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so hopeful that he's going to wash the taste of Jared Leto out of everybody's mouth.
The guy goes out of his way to paint himself up to look like a clown, and he asks to be announced on national TV as Joker. I think we kind of get that he might be damaged. There might be something wrong with that guy. Jack Nicholson.
We love Jack Nicholson.
I was just going to say, Jack Nicholson doesn't get love anymore. I still love him. He was the original. Well, original post 66, that is. Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker. As you can see, I'm a lot happier. Boom! Love him.
I think it's just that he thought the original Frozen was overrated.
Too overrated. And I'm sorry, crap, I forgot her name. The redheaded sister.
Amelia? I can't. What was her name?
Anna. Thank you.
Anna.
Thank you, chat.
I knew it was an A.
Yeah, Anna, I think you owe Kristoff a little bit of a thank you in all of his helping you in getting to save your sister. I mean, yeah, girl power and all that, but he helped. Just a touch. We discussed that earlier this morning, actually. Super Mario fan reviewing the Dark Crystal. We need to set aside a block of reviews entirely for Jim Henson's non-Muppet works.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be amazing. All right, sorry. Anna. Do you know that there was another Toy Story? I know, I can't believe it either. Oh, yes. Let's talk about Toy Story, shall we?
No, you can't talk too much about it. Not too much.
What about the Labyrinth? Oh, definitely.
Don't forget to throw out some voice suggestions. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Sarah Waterman, let's try to lay out the swearing, okay? Apparently YouTube doesn't like that, so let's kind of knock it off, okay? Didn't Jim Henson do the AT&T animations for... Oh, animations for Empire Strikes Back. No, that was someone else. I think his name was Tippett. I don't know. Yeah, it was like Phil Tippett or something, who I think would later on do some rudimentary stop motion effects for Jurassic Park, which then got replaced with CGI. Shame.
Oh, you forgot to work on getting Wolfabob in on this one.
I did, didn't I? Should I excuse myself? Maybe.
How hard would it be for you to grab him?
Not impossible. but tricky.
They'd appreciate it.
Yes, they would. I'll be back. Excuse me one moment. Just need to slink around here.
Y'all hear a crash, don't worry.
I'm okay. I'm still okay.
We got some Sesame Street voices.
Always a good decision.
I am so down for the new Jurassic Park movie, man. That short was awesome.
Here we go. All right. Got Wolf above here.
I only have 6 masks right now.
For now.
Now, I'm hopeful that Masqueraven will inspire you guys to design some for me so that I can model them for you.
Yes, let's get a Raven Halloween masquerade show going on. La 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 la. Okay, sorry that I had to take that little detour away from you guys, but I am back. Put my light back in position.
And Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum's going to be in the new one.
Ta-da! And I got my little friend.
You should save him for like the Oh my god, that was stuck in my head for a solid year. My oldest had that on one of their sing-along videos.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry, baby. All right, we are about 20 minutes into the stream. Shall we begin?
Yes. Just as a little cutesy thing, I would go mana mana, and she'd go do 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 do, off key and adorable.
Right up there with brown potato.
Yeah, brown potato. Brown potato.
2 adorbs.
Oh yes.
All
I
right.
remember when they were easy and little and cute. Now they're
Yeah.
obnoxious.
And evil.
And evil, yes.
Shall we begin? How I Met My Monster?
Yes, in just a moment. Let me get the last few voices written down. Yes, we're going to be starting with Snowden from The Magic Gift of the Snowman.
Yes. How I Met My Monster. Written by Amanda Knoll and illustrated by Howard McWilliam.
Why in the world did YouTube hold Alfred Hitchcock for? Oh, Hitchcock. Okay, they held it for review.
Seriously, YouTube. Seriously. Anywho, one night when I reached under the bed for my truck, I found this note instead. Monsters, meet here for final test. Z. Ha! My parents were obviously trying to trick me into staying in bed. I didn't believe in monsters. Oh, you will, little man.
Speaking in Windows.
You will. Yeah, I think there's Snowden right there, actually.
Ooh. Stranger danger.
Next.
Chester Cheetah.
Wow, it's kind of like the same thing. So I crumpled the paper, grabbed my truck, and zipped over to my garage. I heard some creaking and rumbling, but I wasn't scared. Our house always made noises like that. Next.
Peter Lorre.
But then a voice under the bed scolded, "Stop that stomach rumbling! The child will hear you!" Voices? Stomach rumbling? If this was part of my parents' trick, it was pretty cool. I peered into the inky blackness.
5 pairs of eyes blinked back. See? Now he knows we're here, the voice sighed. One of you has broken monster rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise. This is no trick, I thought. There are monsters under my bed.
Oh no! Oh my god, they're so scary. Next.
The voice that started it all, Christopher Lee.
A long-necked yellow monster slid out, followed by 4 little monsters. Rule number 2, the yellow one instructed. Never block the bed. All of you, scoot over. Hey, I realized, that one must be their teacher. I sat up straight, mesmerized by the monster parade shuffling across my bedroom. And here are the monsters in all of their hideous glory. Aren't they scary? Ruh.
I love the artwork.
Very expressive. Next.
Timer the Cheese Guy?
Pass.
Terry Jones?
Well, that's better, the teacher monster said. Access to the bed is clear. Now, who knows rule number 3? The purple monster teetered on his tiptoes and gurgled, Get the child to bed. That's correct, Genghis. And how would you do that? Well, Mr. Z, I would roar my scariest roar. All right, give it a go. Genghis took a deep breath, opened his mouths, and let out a tiny blurp. Blurp. Next.
John Cleese.
Stomach rumbling would leave a much better... would have a much better chance of getting me into bed than that funny little noise, I laughed. The child is right, said Mr. Z, shaking his head. That was not sufficiently scary. Genghis, I'm sorry, but you're not the best monster for this child. There was some creaking as Genghis slunk under the bed, as he did a silly walk. Next.
Robert De Niro?
Pass.
The baby dinosaur from Dinosaurs.
Jesus.
Before I could investigate where Genghis had gone, Mr. Z asked, Now who wants to try to get the child into bed? The orange monster looked at the ceiling, and the red monster looked at the floor. Only the green one looked at me. First he stood up on toes and started drooling. Then he took a step toward me, and I heard that rumbling noise again.
Next.
Sounds like Elmo.
That is Elmo.
Oh, okay.
Same puppeteer.
1991's Beauty and the Beast, LeFou.
I sprang into bed so he couldn't get my feet. Mr. Z blinked. Very unconventional, Gabe. Your stomach gurgles seem to be just what this child needs. What I needed was to make sure this little Gabe monster didn't eat my toes. Next.
Cookie Monster.
Right, you 3. The child is now in bed, said Mr. Z, and every monster knows the ultimate objective is rule number 4. Who can tell me what that is? The orange monster bounced and squeaked. Keep the child in bed until it falls asleep. Correct, Morgan. And how would you accomplish that? Shadow puppets! Shadow puppets! She squeaked again. Gabe whistled through his nose, and I snickered. But Mr. Z said, Interesting idea. You try it.
Mr. Girthmore.
Oh dear. Morgan hopped onto my night table and flailed her arms near my lamp. Silly shadows blobbled onto the wall, and a cloud of fluffy fur tickled my nose. Achoo! Morgan, stop at once, Mr. Z ordered. You're supposed to scare him, not make him sneeze. I'm sorry, but you're not a match either. Morgan's arms flopped to her side, and she scuttled under my bed. There was some more creaking, and Morgan was gone. What we got next?
Statler and Waldorf.
After all that sneezing, I really needed a tissue. Suddenly, a huge shadow of uncut claws loomed across my room. Awesome, I thought, and kind of scary. I froze in place. This isn't really the place for a joke, but here we go anyway. Next.
Hank Hill.
Always a classic.
Oh, yes.
Powerful performance, Gabe, said Mr. Z. But do either of you see a problem? Oh, I know, chirped the red monster. The child is out of bed again. Correct, Abigail, Mr. Z continued. And one of you must get him back in. Let's revisit rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise. All at once, poof, the monsters vanished. Then I heard more rumbling. Were they hiding in my closet, making noises to scare me? No, it was only my stomach grumbling. All this excitement was making me hungry. Now, if you're hungry and you need to get a nice barbecue going, you need to get yourself a nice propane grill. Next.
To answer someone's question, yes, it is possible to get kicked out of the stream. Please don't do anything to get kicked out of the stream, guys. Just be nice. Just be nice. We don't ask a lot. Crow T-Bot.
I tiptoed past the closet and peeked out the door. So far, so good. No monsters. Then I stepped over the squeaky stair and sneaked down to the kitchen. As I reached into the pantry, I heard some chattering behind me. I sure hoped it wasn't that toe-loving Gabe. Oh, don't worry, kid. He's right behind you.
Next.
Oscar the Grouch.
I yanked open the fridge. Ha! It wasn't Gabe. It was just the red monster shivering on the shelf. Found you, I laughed. Nice try, Abigail, said Mr. Z. But this isn't working. You're not the right monster for this child. But Mr. Z, she whined. It's not my fault he's not scared of me. I'm sorry, Abigail. Let's go. Abigail clumped behind Mr. Z. When I heard the creaking, I knew she was gone.
That's good. I don't think I've ever heard you do Oscar before.
Well, there you go.
The Count.
I grabbed some crackers and headed upstairs, wondering if Gabe was gone too. I munched all the way down the hall, then went into the bathroom to brush my teeth again. When I opened the door a minute later, Gabe was definitely not gone. He was right there, and he was huge. One huge, oversized monster!
John Hurt.
Pass.
John Tron.
Pass.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Sorry, don't know what. Too many wrestlers.
Okay, then give us Macho Man Randy Savage. You know him. You're good at him.
That I can do. I charged into my room and slammed the door. When I leaped into bed, I knew my toes were safe. Woo, yeah! I was surprised to hear breathing under my bed. Ragged breathing and stomach rumbling. Hey, kid, Gabe growled. Good to see you. I pulled my covers up tight. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start an evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of my bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. And it was the drool of slapping into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah!
Oh, my goodness.
Ouch!
The next one is Alfred Hitchcock, which is apparently a dirty word. Just a name, YouTube. Calm your ass down.
Yeah, I know. Hitch? That is so wrong.
I know. So naughty.
Then the bed quivered as Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. Well, this looks quite promising, Mr. Z noted. When I heard some more creaking, I knew Mr. Z was gone. I was alone with Gabe. Oh no. Next.
No, he didn't do Elmo. He did Dying Baby Dinosaur, which is the same one, but
Yeah, kind of.
a little different. It's a little different. Miss Piggy.
Gabe looped over my bed and began sharpening his uncut claws in my bedpost. How did Voo get so big? I gasped. Rule number 5, my friend, he explained. People food makes monsters grow. So, thanks for the crackers. Got any toes I could munch? I scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. This was way better than playing with trucks.
Why? This is horrifying. Next.
Count Olaf.
No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, tossing a stuffed monster off the bed. Gabe dove for it. His soft, comforting snorts filled the room as he snuffled the toy. I shivered. Shivered.
Oh, okay.
And you are taken by surprise. He mispronounces some words for some reason. I don't know.
Puss in Boots was also hidden.
Oh, God.
Wall-E.
Kid, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Wow. Another monster can scare me like you. I giggle.
That's a weird voice. Final voice for this final page?
Burgermeister Meisterburger?
Gabe was the monster for me. His snorts and oohs were perfect. I yawned, then shivered again. I was asleep in no time. The end. Oh.
And back through.
And back through one more time. Before we get to our bonus stories. Let's see. Taking it from the top. And again, so many interesting monster designs on the inside cover here. Just look at all those guys. All right. First voice.
Grand High Witch?
Pass.
Roger Rabbit.
So one night, when I reached under the bed for my truck, I found this note instead. Monsters, meet here for final test. Z. Jeepers, my parents were obviously trying to trick me into staying in bed. I didn't believe in monsters. Please.
Do you want to play patty cake?
Yeah, stream's over. Bye, everybody. Click. When my lady plays Jessica Rabbit, it's on. I'll make you a carrot cake.
People compare me to her all the time.
Hmm?
People compare me to her all the time.
You're her.
I'm not that. I'm just
drawn that way. I just sound that way.
Well, you drew me.
I did. Did I draw you bad?
You drew me curvy.
Anywho.
This is Eric Cartman. Boy, that's a change in mood.
Ah, God damn it! So I crumpled the paper, grabbed my truck, and zipped over to my garage. I heard some creaking and rumbling, but I wasn't scared. A monster always makes noises at night. If there's a monster under my bed, I'll be like, "Hey, you monsters, get back under the bed and make me a sandwich."
Next.
Cool cat.
But then a voice under the bed scolded, "Stop that stomach rumbling! The child will hear you! Not like me. I'm being stealthy right now. Yay! Voices, stomach rumbling. If this was part of my parents' trick, it was pretty cool. I peered into the inky blackness. 5 pairs of eyes blinked back. See? Now he knows we're here, the voice sighed. One of you has broken monster rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise. This is no trick, I thought. There are monsters under my bed. Exquisite! Always has to end on that note. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Ed Wood.
A long-necked yellow monster slid out, followed by 4 little monsters. Rule number 2, the yellow one instructed. Never block the bed. All of you, scoot over. Hey, I realized, that one must be their teacher. I sat up straight, mesmerized by the monster parade, shuffling across the room. I call it... Parade of Monsters. Next.
Boomhauer? Hauser?
Boomhauer. Oh, God.
Boomhauer. Sorry, I'm scribbling. Can't read my own handwriting.
Yeah, that's better. The teacher monster said, access to the bed is clear. Now, who knows rule number 3? The purple monster teetered on his tiptoes and gurgled, get the child to bed. That's correct, Genghis. Now, how'd you do that? Well, Mrs. E, I would run my scariest roar. All right, then, give it a go. Genghis took a deep, opened his mouth and gave a little tiny blurp there, man.
Oh, my God. It's horrible.
Yes, it is.
Lord Business.
Lord Business. Stomach rumbling would have a better chance of getting me into bed than that funny little noise, I laughed. The child is right, said Mr. Z, shaking his head. That was not sufficiently scary. Genghis, I'm sorry, you're not the best monster for this child. There was some creaking as Genghis slunk beneath the bed. That's my best Will Ferrell.
Professor Snape.
Before I could investigate where Genghis had gone, Mr. Z asked, now, who wants to try to get the child into bed? The orange monster looked at the ceiling, and the red monster looked at the floor. Only the green one looked at me. First, he stared at my toes and started drooling. Then he took a step toward me, and I heard that rumbling noise again. Next.
That was the Potter Pals Snape, wasn't it?
Sorry, no, that was supposed to be legit Snape.
Oh, sorry.
No, Potter Puppet Snape is more like this.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Robin Williams' Genie.
Pass.
Delta Goodrem.
Pass.
Bill Cosby.
I sprang into bed so he wouldn't get my feet. Mrs. A. Blake, very unconventional, Gabe. Your stomach gurgle seemed to be what this child needs. What I needed was to make sure that this weird, creepy old man wasn't going to get me or eat my toes with the jello pudding.
God. Next voice is Fozzie.
Right, you 3. The child is now in bed, said Mr. Z. And as everyone knows, the ultimate objective is rule number 4. Who can tell me what that is? The orange monster bounced and squeaked. Keep the child in bed until it falls asleep. Correct, Morgan. And how would you accomplish that? Shadow puppets! Gabe whistled through his nose, and I snickered. But Mr. Z said, interesting idea. Try it. Next.
John Leguizamo from Spawn.
Pass.
Freddy Krueger.
Morgan hopped onto the night table and flailed her arms near my lamp. Silly shadows blobbled onto the wall, and a cloud of fluffy air tickled my nose. Morgan, stop at once, Mr. Z ordered. You're supposed to scare him, not make him sneeze. I'm sorry, but you're not a match either, bitch.
Morgan's arms flopped to her sides and she scuttled under my bed. There was some more creaking, and Morgan was gone. Next.
Big Bird.
Oh, boy.
After all that sneezing, I really needed a tissue. Suddenly, a huge shadow of uncut claws loomed across my room. Awesome, I thought, and kind of scary. I froze in place.
Next.
Oh, God.
What
Trump. I hate you.
Powerful performance, Gabe, said Mr. Z. But do either of you see a problem? Oh, I know, chirped the red monster. The child is out of bed again. Correct, Abigail, Mr. Z continued, and one of you must get him back in. Let's revisit rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise. All at once, poof, the monsters vanished. Then I heard more rumbling. Were they hiding in my closet, making noises to scare me? Ha, no, it was only my stomach grumbling. All this excitement was making me hungry. Let's go to McDonald's.
Next.
Going to have a round of jokers. Let's start with Romero.
I tiptoed past the closet and peeked out the door. So far, so good. No monsters. Then I stepped over and the squeaky stair and sneaked down to the kitchen. As I reached into the pantry, I heard some chattering behind me. I sure hoped it wasn't that toe-loving Gabe.
Nicholson.
I yanked open the fridge. It wasn't Gabe. It was just the red monster shivering on the shelf. Found you, I laughed.
Hamill.
Nice try, Abigail, said Mr. Z. But this isn't working. You're not the right monster for this child. But Mr. Z, she whined. It's not my fault he was not scared of me. I'm sorry, Abigail. Let's go.
Richardson.
Abigail clumped behind Mr. Z. When I heard the creaking, I knew she was gone.
Bennett.
I grabbed some crackers and headed upstairs, wondering if Gabe was gone too. I munched all the way down the hall, then went into the bathroom to brush my teeth again. When I opened the door a minute later, Gabe was definitely not gone. He was right there, and he was huge.
How's your Steve Bloom?
Pass.
Pass. Okay. Ledger.
Did Steve Bloom do Joker?
Lego Movie.
No, that was Zach Galifianakis. Let's see, Lego Movie Joker?
Lego Batman. Oh, the video game. I'm sorry. Yes. You are right.
He was in the
Lego
video
Batman,
game.
the video game.
Okay.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Ledger.
I charged into my room and slammed the door. When I leaped into bed, I knew my toes were safe. Phew. I was surprised to hear breathing under my bed. Ragged breathing. And stomach rumbling. Hey, kid, Gabe growled. Good to see ya. I pulled my covers up tight. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. And then Gabe peeked up from over the edge of the bed and said, "Why so serious?"
Okay, now these I don't know. These Jokers I don't know, so I don't know if you can do them. John DiMaggio, who did Batman Under the Hood's Joker, Red Hood's Joker.
Then the bed quivered and Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. Well, this looks quite promising, Mr. Z noted. When I heard some more creaking, I knew Mr. Z was gone. I was alone with Gabe.
Nice.
Thank you.
Brent Spinner from Young Justice.
Pass.
Michael Emerson, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns.
Pass.
Troy Baker, who did Arkham Origins series of games.
Mm-mm. Sorry.
We are not doing him. Jerome Valeska.
I was gonna say, did someone throw Leto at you?
No, they said Joker, so I went and looked up everybody who's ever voiced Joker. At you. And then there was the final one on that particular list, which doesn't actually exist. It's a myth. So we're not going to do that.
No. It sounds too much like Jim Carrey anyway. Gabe loomed over my bed and began sharpening his uncut claws on my bedpost. How'd you get so big? I gasped. Rule number 5, my friend, he explained. People food makes monsters grow. So, thanks for the crackers. Got any toes I can munch? I scrunched in my feet so Gabe couldn't get them. This was way better than playing with trucks. You know?
Yoda.
No toast tonight, but have this you can, I offered, tossing a stuffed monster off the bed. Do for it, Gabe did. His soft, comforting snorts filled the room as the toy he snuffled. I shivered.
Next.
I'm doing some catch-up here. Lumiere.
Kid, I see this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. No other monster can scare me like you. I giggled. Final voice for the story?
Cogsworth.
Gabe was the monster for me. His snorts and ooze were perfect. I yawned, then shivered again. I was asleep in no time. The end.
Now, on to the bonus stories.
Yes, that's it for How I Met My Monster.
Which we will revisit probably at the end of the stream to fill in the 2 hours.
Probably. Where are we at now, by the way?
Okay, we are at almost 6 o'clock. It's 5:51. The request was made for you to do Wolfabob and you doing Bert and Ernie impressions.
Oh, God. All right. First of all, let us get into 5-minute Pixar stories as their bonus material. And let's see. What was it that we were going to read here? We are starting with Toy Story, A New Mission, which is on what page? 63. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can puppeteer Wolfabob while holding my book open here.
You don't have the advantage of a green screen and editing.
No, I do not. Okay, here we go. As Bert and Ernie, was it?
Yes.
Andy was leaving for college, and his toys were heading to the attic. But Sarge and his green army men had a different plan. They climbed up on to the windowsill. It's your turn, Bert.
Oh, right. Hey, Sarge, what are you doing? Asked Buzz. War's over, folks, Sarge replied. We're moving on.
Is that me? Yeah, it's my turn now. Sarge explained that their tour of duty in Andy's room was complete. It was time he and his troops took up a new mission. Next.
Okay. Next, dual impression.
Oh, Lord.
Let's have Buzz Lightyear and Woody.
Oh, jeez. With one final salute, Sarge and his men jumped off the windowsill. They opened their parachutes and flew across the city. Operation New Home was a go. The 3 army men landed near a toy store. It would be the perfect place to find a child. Before long, the soldiers spotted a boy and his mother walking toward them. This child is military material, Sarge whispered. On your marks, gentlemen. Go, go, go! He and his men jumped into the mother's shopping bag.
Let's have some Scar and Mufasa.
Oh, jeez. But the soldiers weren't taken home from playtime. The mother made a stop at the bakery. As the boy reached for a giant cookie, he knocked one of the shopping bags over. The army men stumbled to the floor. When the boy left, the baker spotted the toys. He picked them up and took them into the kitchen, delighted at what he thought were new cake decorations. Yeah, which he just found on the floor over here. That's sanitary.
Beavis and Butthead. Because
Jesus.
everyone hates me.
After giving them a good wash and stuff, the baker placed the Green Army men on a birthday cake. Then he put the cake in the refrigerator. Looks like we're in for a long, cold night, the soldier said with a sigh. As soon as the morning came, the soldiers were placed in a box and carried out the door. They were on the move again. It was a cold night. They could have used some fire. Ah! How dare it, Beavis? Shut up.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at this. In this bakery where these soldiers were reappropriated into cake decorations, we also have a Nemo cake, a Jack Jack cake, and a Mater cake. Oh my god, it's all connected! Inside jokes, people, that's all they are.
Ready for the next dual impression?
I guess.
You're doing good. Let's see. Just a second. Timon and Pumbaa?
Pass.
Cool Cat and Daddy Derek.
Oh, God.
I know you've already done Cool Cat, but it was too cool of a suggestion, so we have to do it.
When the lid was off, the cake box was finally lifted. Sarge and his men discovered that they were in the middle of a birthday party. Great Army men! Cool! Exclaimed the birthday boy. He plucked the soldiers off the cake and set them aside. This could be it, men, Sarge whispered. This boy could lead us to our new home. Yes, this is whispering. The soldiers nodded in agreement. Their mission was back on track. The soldiers watched as the boy enjoyed his party, but then somehow they lost sight of him. Sarge scanned the room. Target is headed for the exit. Their lights move. The army men followed the boy out the front door, but they were too late. He was gone. Because there's here and there's gone.
Okay, let's see. Let's get some good ones here. I know. Let's have the two pusses in boots. Banderas and Shatner.
Oh, Lord. Before the Green Army men could retreat, a pizza delivery truck screeched to a stop near them. The driver honked his horn. A waiter came out from the restaurant carrying a stack of pizza boxes. It's about time, he grumbled to the driver. Take these to the Wilderness Explorer picnic. Wilderness Explorer picnic? Really? There are a lot of hungry kids waiting for lunch. Sarge looked at his men and smiled. Then they climbed onto the truck.
Oh, the truck weaved in and out of traffic. Suddenly it hit a bump, causing one of the cadets' parachutes to open. Sarge grabbed on the other soldiers, began to lift off the roof of the van, and the other soldier held on to Sarge. The wind was strong. They couldn't hold on much longer. Go on without me, the cadet called out. But Sarge knew better. A good soldier never leaves a man behind. The three soldiers flew off the truck and landed on the side of the road. As night fell, the soldiers made a tent out of newspaper. The cadets went to bed, but Sarge stayed awake, wondering when and where they would find their new home.
Yeah, okay, Winnie the Pooh, you're drunk.
I'm drawing a blank on the name of the horror movie actor that was depicted in Ed Wood.
Bela Lugosi.
Okay, Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff.
The next morning, the unit awoke to a loud rumble. The makeshift shelter was lifted into the air and then tossed into a trash can, with Sarge still inside. Sarge looked down to see the soldiers safe in the bushes below. Then he was thrown into the back of a garbage truck. The trash man hopped aboard his truck, and he drove off. Oh no!
Okay, I'm gonna do some Transformers matchups. Mud flaps and skids.
Oh god. Ugh. Pass.
Okay.
Ugh.
Megatron and Starscream.
Sarge struggled to keep his head above the garbage. Just as he was about to sink beneath the plastic bags, he looked up and saw his cadets. They had come to his rescue! Working together, the other soldiers lowered themselves into a large garbage truck. Sarge reached out and grabbed the hand of one of the cadets. "Never leave a man behind, Megatron," the soldier said.
Yes, indeed. The troop jumped off the truck and landed in an alley. Sarge looked at his tired soldiers and sighed. Maybe leaving Andy's house wasn't such a good idea after all. At that moment, the men heard laughter coming from the other side of the wall. They climbed up and peered over. Sarge gasped. Below them was a beautiful playground. Could this be their new home? They parachuted over for a closer look. Yeah.
Yzma and Kronk.
Oh, jeez.
A group of toys greeted the soldiers with open arms. "Welcome to Sunnyside Daycare." Ken and Barbie gave the troop a tour of the playground and classrooms. Everything was new and improved now that their old boss, Lotso, wasn't there anymore.
I see what you did there. Tie in with Toy Story 3. Which, by the way, was the absolute last Toy Story movie ever made. Wasn't it?
Giving away too much. You're gonna have to review them all.
Yes, I am. Sarge pulled his men aside and explained that Sunnyside felt like the home they were looking for. The cadets agreed! Final voice for this story?
Okay, so this will be the final matchup here.
Yes.
Do you have any that you'd like to do? Or shall I put something together for you?
You think of something. I'm drawing a
How's your
blank here.
DJ and Baby Bop?
What?
You know, from Barney. That's a no.
Sorry.
Ooh, what? Not a big Barney fan. Gotcha. Okay. I've got one for you. Peanut and Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
The next morning, Sarge proudly watched his men experience a full day of play at Sunnyside. The soldiers were finally home. Mission accomplished, senor. And that's that. Thank you. Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
good. Wolf of Bob, you were fantastic. Bobsheaux, you'd improve.
Hey, I'm leaving you.
Are you really?
Convince me not to.
I love you.
Keep going.
Baby, I love to see you smile.
Okay. Next story.
Next story.
Monsters Incorporated. Mike's Laughing Matter. which I believe is at the very beginning of the book here. Yes, it is. First voice.
First voice is I'm all out of order here. Give me a second. Have a sip of water. We do this one. Yeah, we did that one. That's all done. That's all. Yeah, I had to. It got all jumbled.
Sorry.
That's okay. It was worth it. That was fun. Okay. Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Beep, beep, beep. Mike Wazowski's eye opened. He stretched his arms and grinned. It was time for work. He turned off his alarm and hopped out of bed. He didn't want to be late for his job at Monsters Incorporated. Mike took his work very seriously.
No SpongeBob.
Ah!
No. How's your Jareth?
When Mike arrived at work, he headed straight to the locker room. His job was to go into the human world and make kids laugh. He collected the laughs and brought them back to Monsters Incorporated. Then the company changed the laughs into energy for the city of Monstropolis. Mike wasn't just an employee. He was the top laugh collector. He was always coming up with new jokes. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Everything I've done for you.
Mm-hmm.
I moved the stars with no one.
Oh, you're gonna stop? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, come back.
Private performance later, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Slappy Squirrel.
Pass.
Homer Simpson.
As Mike walked down the hall to the left floor, a furry orange monster named George waved. Hi, Mike. Got any plans for the weekend? Mike just nodded and kept walking. Stupid Flanders. He didn't have time to chat if he was going to run through his routine. A moment later, he arrived at his station. Mike practiced his jokes aloud. A sandal bumped into a sneaker. Want to hang out? The sandal asked. The sneaker raced off. Sorry, gotta run. Boo. Just then, a door dropped down from the ceiling into a station. Time to rock and roll, Mike said, excited. Next.
Don't worry if he comes back after the timeout. Goat will be and keeps going. Goat will be blocked. I think you have to kick him out of the channel. I don't think it'll let me.
What?
Oh, we just have somebody coming and trying to start some crap. Just a little troll. Nothing important. I put him in timeout, and if he comes back after the timeout and keeps going, then I'll have you figure out how to block him. Got to be one person that tries to ruin everybody's fun just to be stupid.
Let's not do that, guys, okay?
Everybody else is doing fine. Okay, J. Jonah Jameson.
Mike walked through the door and into a child's bedroom closet. He peeked out. To his surprise, the bedroom was dark and the shades were drawn. The glow of a nightlight filled the room. Mike tiptoed to the bed. A little boy lay sound asleep under the covers. Why is it surprising? Isn't that their shtick? Mike knew he wouldn't be collecting any laughs here. It seemed pretty early for bedtime, he thought, stepping back through the closet door into Monsters Incorporated. He looked over at his empty laugh canister. Guess the kid had a busy day. Oh well, I'll just have to crack up someone else tonight. Next.
Fraser Crane.
A moment later, a new door slid down, and Mike stepped through it. You've got to be kidding, he whispered, his eye wide. His audience, a young girl, was asleep. She was even snoring. I'm not going to give up, Mike declared. After all, he was the funniest monster at Monsters, Inc. Mike took a deep breath, returned to the laugh floor, and tried another door. Then another. No luck. All the children he visited were asleep. Again, isn't that what they do? So they sneak into the kids' bedrooms when they're asleep, wake them up, get a laugh out of them, and then leave?
Mm.
Next.
Stinky.
Oh, I hate you.
Don't hate me.
What a terrible day, Mike grumbled as he walked back through his station door yet again. Then he packed up his belongings. Outside Monsters, Inc., a few monsters were talking with Sully, the president of the company and Mike's best friend. Mike went over and told his friends what had happened. Doesn't anyone stay out past dinner? He asked. George shrugged his furry orange shoulders. I didn't have any problems.
Next.
Mo Sislak?
I collected nearly a dozen canisters, said Charlie, a skinny green monster. One of my best days ever. Sully patted Mike's arm. Probably just a coincidence, pal. I'm sure tomorrow will be better. Why don't you come and have a drink with us? Mike shook his head. He needed to go home and write some more jokes. He was determined to have the most laughs that week. Next.
Mimsy from South Park?
When Mike got home, his phone was ringing. It was his girlfriend, Celia. How is work, she asked. Terrible, Mike said. I didn't even fill up one canister. Don't worry, Celia told him. You're the funniest monster I know. The laughs will come, so do you want to go to a movie on Saturday? Shut up, Mimsy! Next.
Lord Chamberlain.
Back to the Dark Crystal.
Oh, and just as a note, I'll be the one to correct people's language. Thank you very much. If it's not a problem for me, it's not a problem for you, okay?
Something said.
Oh, just asserting my authority.
Yes,
everybody be nice to everybody.
Which everyone must respect.
Be mean. I'm the only one that gets to be mean.
Chamberlain, was it?
Yes, Lord Chamberlain.
Can I let you know tomorrow? Mike asked. Sure, Celia replied. Mike hung up the phone. He wrote 8 new jokes, reread them several times, and then hurried off to bed. Always got to begin and end with that.
Just keep it kind of mild. You don't be shouting cuss words and stuff like that, guys. But the occasional damn or whatever is fine. We're all adults here, or nearly, maybe. I don't know.
Let's keep it PG so YouTube doesn't actually censor you guys.
Well, I've been letting some of them go through. Like, Alfred Hitchcock, Puss in Boots.
Come on!
The occasional damn and stuff like that.
Anyway, next one.
Okay, the next one is Barney.
The next day, Mike was bursting with excitement. What did the ghost serve at his birthday party? Ice cream, he joked, warming up. But it happened again. Each time Mike stepped through a closet door, he found a sleeping child. What's going on? Mike stomped back to the laugh floor. This was nothing to laugh about. His reputation as the funniest monster at Monsters, Inc. was on the line.
I would totally be down for him doing one of these live streams in his troll outfit. Totally down for it.
No!
And sing the whole thing.
No!
I'm down. It has been a request. It has been put forward onto the floor and seconded by many people. Can you do a passage singing?
Oh boy.
That might be a bit much.
What's the matter, Mike? George asked. What?
Maybe you could just sing something, with an actual tune and lyrics and stuff that you know.
No. If it's tuneless, it's funnier.
Okay.
What's the matter, Mike? George asked. You seem cranky. Want to grab a bite? Sully asked. Other monsters started to look at Mike, wondering what's going on. Not now, Mike said, pacing back and forth. This is a disaster! Now put the thing back where it came from, or so help me! Oh, hey, we're just rehearsing a scene for the new company play, Put the Thing Back Where It Came From, or So Help Me. It's a musical. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. So help me, and cut.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's going to get better.
Oh. Ruined the whole singing thing.
She's out of our hair. And just when I dare to care, she says, au contraire, you're my pair of friends. I love you.
What is that from?
It's from the actual play that Mike produced at the end of the movie.
Can you do the general from The Dark Crystal?
General, Maybe you're losing your touch, George said. Maybe you should get more sleep, Charlie advised. Mike felt his face getting hot. Listen! Suddenly, Mike noticed that Sully was grinning, and so were the other monsters. Even Celia's hair snakes were smiling. Maybe you shouldn't take your laugh so seriously, Sully suggested with a wink. What do you know about this? Mike asked, suspicious. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah. I was impressed.
Thank you.
You have had no practice with that. You just, woo. There you go. That was good. Elliot from Pete's Dragon.
Pass.
Shazam.
Pass.
Tuffy.
Ugh.
We got you, George yelled. He and Charlie high-fived. Got me, Mike said, giving everyone a one-eyed stare.
What else could he give you?
The guys thought it was time to help you lighten up and laugh a bit more, Mike, Sully explained. When was the last time you went to lunch with one of us? You hadn't stopped to chat in weeks, and I heard Celia asked you to the movies on Saturday.
Next.
Me.
But I mean, work has been... Mike tried to explain that he took his jokes very seriously. Then he realized his friends were right. He had been trying so hard to collect laughs that he had forgotten how to have some of his own. He smiled. Okay, how'd you do it? He asked. When you weren't home, I snuck into your house and changed your clock, Charlie told him. That's why the kids were all asleep when you walked into their bedrooms.
You're supposed to do it sexy.
I don't know how to do that sexy. All I can do is try to read it like you might read it. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't read that sexy, but, you know.
Yeah. So they changed his clock? He never caught that? Like he never looked at any other clocks anywhere else in his day and thought, hey, everything seems out of whack here. Anyway, next voice.
Elmo.
As Mike looked at all the smiling monsters around him, he realized how much his friends cared about him. He found himself finally beginning to relax. Then he let out a large chuckle. So everyone on the left floor was cracking up. I had to admit, you guys really had Elmo going, Mike said, wiping a happy tear from his eye. Sully grinned. This time, the joke was on you. That tickles.
Beetlejuice.
Just a moment. That's the end of that story. Now we move
sorry.
on to Ratatouille, Sweet Dreams, which is on what page? 95. Starting with Beetlejuice, you said?
Yes.
Remy the Rat was very happy as the chef of his own little bistro. Remy and his human pal Linguini had recently opened the restaurant. It was called La Ratatouille. Very original, I know, right? Every night, people from all over Paris lined up to wait for a table. They had no idea that the chef was a rat. Late one night, Remy's brother Emile had just finished dinner there. The brothers were saying goodbye outside the bistro. I'll be up late cooking for the celebration tomorrow, Remy said. So sweet dreams and no more eating tonight. Next.
Would you like to know another name that got censored by YouTube?
What?
Jim Cummings.
You know, I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe, just maybe, there might be something wrong with YouTube's algorithms. Perhaps.
Just maybe. Might need a tweak.
Ugh. Anyway, next, yes.
John Lennon.
Pass.
Nick Wilde.
While he was walking home, Emile thought about the party they were having the next day, and the food. Emile hoped Remy would make ratatouille, his trademark vegetable dish. But as much as Emile loved Remy's gourmet cooking, he liked garbage too. After all, he wasn't a rat. So when he saw an apple core, he was tempted to eat it. Then he remembered what Remy had said. Emile continued on and went to bed. He didn't let Remy see that he got to him. Next.
Professor Membrane from Invader Zim.
Meanwhile, Remy was hard at work cooking and baking at the restaurant. The smell of the delicious food floated out the back door of the kitchen. It wafted down into the sewers, finally drifting past the sleeping Emile's nose. For Remy was making toast!
Dun, dun, dun.
Next.
Bob Dylan.
Emile was having the loveliest dream. In it, a huge plate of yummy-looking garbage floated just out of his reach. But when he smelled Remy's cooking, Emile was so tempted by the pleasant aroma that he got to his feet, even though he was still asleep. Following his super-sensitive rat nose, Emile sleepwalked along the pipes until he reached the source of the smell. Finally, he arrived in the kitchen of the Ratatouille. And his tastes, they are a-changing.
Oh my gosh.
Next.
Ray Stans?
Pass.
Vincent Price.
By then, Remy was taking a well-deserved break from cooking. It was a beautiful night, and he was outside on the back steps looking at the stars. He didn't see Emile sleepwalk out of a vent and onto the kitchen counter. Still asleep, Emile sniffed his way toward a large plate of fresh pastries that Remy had just baked. In his dream, Emile began to eat some garbage, but in the kitchen, he was eating the entire plate of treats. Soon Emile had devoured all the food Remy had just made for the party. Emile, you idiot!
Very good.
Thank you.
Jafar.
The actual Jafar, not... When there was nothing on the plate, Emile sleepwalked back to the sewers. This guy does not sound villainous at all, does he?
Just do Jafar and shut up.
You know it to be true. When there's nothing left on the plate, Emile sleepwalks back into the sewers. His belly was full of some of the finest food in Paris. Even so, his tasty dream about garbage continued. So delicious, he murmured aloud to himself. Best garbage I've ever tasted.
Slimer.
Slimer? You know, it seems to me that if I'm going to be doing Jafar, it should be followed up by another very specific voice that is not Slimer.
Well, it was coming later on the list, but go ahead. Then you're going to do a better one than Slimer.
A few moments later, Remy returned to the kitchen.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
But instead of his wonderful baked goods, he found a plate of crumbs. What in the world? Remy cried. Who could have eaten so much food in the short time he had been outside? What?
My ears are bleeding.
I love you!
No, you don't.
Then Remy had a suspicious thought, but he didn't have time to find out if he was correct. At least not right then. He had to make more food for the party.
Hit me with some Captain Jack before I faint.
The next day, Emil woke up in a sewer tunnel, far from his usual sleeping spot. He had no idea how he got in there. That's interesting, he thought to himself. Then as he got slowly to his feet, he noticed a feeling in his belly. That it was very full, very heavy feeling that he got after a huge meal. But how could I be full now when I went to sleep feeling hungry? Emil wondered aloud. Next.
The blue meanie leader?
Pass.
Ghost host.
Just then, a lovely and unmistakable smell filled the air. Remy's Ratatouille. Oh no, cried Emil, suddenly remembering the celebration. I overslept. I'm going to miss the party. And the food. Emil stumbled along through the pipes. He couldn't run as fast as usual because of his extremely full belly. But he made his way toward the yummy smell as fast as he could. Next.
Freaky Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Pass.
Okay. The Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz?
Finally, Emil reached the end of the sewer pipe that led to the rat colony. He poked out his head and saw that the party was in full swing. He hadn't missed it after all. But when Emil tried to join the fun, he found his belly was too big to fit through the pipe's opening. He tried to wiggle out, but it was no use. Hey! Help! He cried. Remy looked over at his brother. He was not amused. Ha ha! I knew it. You're stuck because you're so full. You must be the one who ate all my food last night. Although that's incorrect. Any hole that a rat can stick its head through.
You know, I'm still a little upset about the whole filmography thing. So I think I'm going to take the suggestion that was just thrown out.
What's that?
Kind of push it ahead. Let's hear your best impression of 2014's Maleficent.
I did, Emil replied. All I remember is a lovely dream, a dream of lovely smelling garbage. Garbage? Remy cried. It wasn't garbage, and it wasn't a dream. You ate all the desserts I made for the party. I had to cook an extra batch of ratatouille instead. I'm sorry, Emil said. At least everybody loves your ratatouille, he added. Did I mention that it's my favorite too?
She was born to play Maleficent.
She was born to play Maleficent. I'm not contesting that. It was just bad fan fiction. And we're supposed to accept it as canon now. Ugh. Disney, why are you saying that animation doesn't matter? That's what you're doing. With every remake you do of an animated film and turning it into a live-action movie, you are saying, oh, now it's a movie. Now it's important.
Oh, are you done, dear?
No. I will never be done.
You have to be done so that you can move on to Maleficent 2. It's coming. You know you must.
Wonder how they're going to completely molest the source material this time.
Ah!
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay, let's hear your best Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, God. Remy knew that it was, but Emile had eaten all the desserts that Remy had worked so hard to make. So Remy finished off his plate of ratatouille right in front of the stuck Emile. Remy didn't tell Emile until later, but he'd saved some ratatouille for his brother. With the help of a few other rats, Remy pulled Emile out of the sewer pipe. That's the best I got.
You should have sung the song.
No. Suck. Next.
You had plenty of money in 1922.
Why don't you do right?
When take and make a fool out of you. Why don't you do right? Like those other men do. Love that song.
Anyway,
moving on. Oh man,
what?
the other one. Boo.
Who is it, baby?
Pee-wee.
That night, Emile went to bed with a very full tummy.
Got another phone call here. Nope, busy. Sorry.
He'd eaten a dish of Remy's delicious ratatouille on top of the desserts he ate from the night before. Early the next morning, the smell of breakfast cooking at La Ratatouille wafted up past Emile's nose as he slept. But this time, he didn't even flinch. Instead, Emile had sweet dreams about his next wonderful meal at the restaurant, prepared by his brother Remy. Ah!
Oh.
I love you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Hit me with one of my favorites. You choose. Make it good. Your evening depends on it.
One of your favorites, huh?
Mm-hmm. You've already done Captain Jack.
Yes, I did. Hi, Raven. It's me, Bobsheaux. I love you.
I love you too, baby.
Yay, she loves me.
Now read something in a different voice.
Dance monkey.
That's right.
Final story, Cars rematch.
We should have time for one more round of How I Met My Monster too.
Okay. What voice?
I'm down. You pick. One of my favorites.
I picked one of your favorites, so that was me.
Yes, but I want you to read in one of the other favorites. Come on.
Let's see. There was Captain Jack. There was David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Lightning McQueen and Francesco Bernoulli had challenged each other to a race in Monza, Italy, Francesco's hometown. Benvenido, said Francesco. Your plane was late, but this is no surprise. You will be late crossing the finish line, too. Lightning smiled, then whispered to Mater, I am so beating him, right here on his own turf.
Very good. You're mostly forgiven.
Oh, getting lucky tonight.
Oh, we have a sponsored suggestion.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
What is that?
It was an either or, but because it's sponsored, you'll do all three.
Oh, God.
The Cowardly Lion.
The Cowardly Lion?
From Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, but that's a 3?
That was the first one.
Oh. As they left the airport, the cars were surrounded by photographers. Paparazzi love Francesco. He has too many fans, said Francesco. Nobody has more fans than Lightning, Mater piped up. Francesco rolled his eyes. We will prove it, said Luigi. Lightning gets hundreds of fan letters every day. Guido, bring the mail bags. Guido zoomed off.
I'm getting to that, Violet. Be patient. The next of the sponsor, it's Raven McBain.
Hello,
Girl.
Raven. Nice to hear from you again.
Yes. Is the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz.
Guido returned with the mailbag overflowing with fan letters. Lightning was a little embarrassed. Oh, it's really not that big of a deal, he said. You're right, Lightning, said Francesco. It is no big deal because Francesco has much, much more fan mail. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's right. We only do sponsored voices. That's been the first one since all day long. You only do the sponsored voices.
Come on, guys.
You're mean like that.
I really
am. And finally, the great and powerful Oz himself.
Letters are great, said Lightning, but we like to get some fender-to-fender time with our fans whenever we can. Lightning and his friends greeted all the cars that were lined up to see them. Mater revved up the crowd. They began chanting, Lightning! Lightning! Next.
The Mad Hatter from 1951.
Castaway Ridicolo, grumbled Francesco. And what about autographs, he asked. Watch and be amazed. Francesco started spinning his wheels and spewing out hundreds of autographed photos of himself to his fans. See? Francesco always gets things done at 300 kilometers an hour.
Blinky Bill?
Pass.
Basil of Baker Street.
Pass.
Sorry, guys. Christopher Walken.
After the two racers had greeted their fans, they drove to a cafe. Hey, Mr. Francesco, nobody drinks oil faster than lightning, Mater said. What? Lightning cried. Mater, I can't drink. Come on, buddy. Show 'em what I done taught you. Wow, Mater exclaimed. Lightning sighed and managed to finish a can of oil in a few gulps. That's terrible.
That is.
Next.
It sounded like something he would say, so.
How's
your Agra?
I want to be like you. I swear that had to be how that movie came about. Ogra?
Agra.
Francesco was not impressed. Francesco never guzzles, he said. Oil should be savored. Lightning turned to Francesco. How about a warm-up before the big race? Just you and me? Francesco nodded. Good idea, Lightning. Try to keep up if you... But before Francesco could finish, Lightning had become a red streak down the road. Ka-chow, Francesco! Lightning yelled. Next.
Nobody has to pay for suggestions.
No. It's nice, but you don't have to.
Please don't keep it up. Please don't. Please stop. You're spamming the channel saying that they have to pay for suggestions. That's not helpful.
It is not. That is not the case at all.
Okay.
So many suggestions we've had, and only one was paid for so far. So
well, now we have two.
Now we have
from
two.
Our friend Tom Jackson.
Tom Jackson.
He would like to hear you do a Prince John.
Oh, Jesus. Francesco was just about to catch up with Lightning when he nearly spun out on a left turn. How do you make those left turns so smoothly? Francesco asked Lightning. Get equipped with some treaded tires, Lightning explained. Aha! Then he turned right to go left. A very good friend taught me that once. Next voice.
Very good, very good. Evan, we see that you did a sponsored post. Okay, you're sponsoring just for fun. Well, you have to pick a voice. It's no fun unless you pick the voice that you want to hear done.
Anything?
Give him a minute to respond. Let's hear Cleveland Brown from Family Guy.
The race cars finally stopped to rest. Francesco sighed. Italy is beautiful, no? Just like Francesco. Lightning chuckled. Do you always think about yourself? He asked. Of course, Francesco replied. On the racetrack, Francesco only thinks about himself and doing his best. This is why he always wins. Oh, that's nasty.
That's Cleveland Brown?
That's Cleveland Brown.
That was not the voice I expected for someone named Cleveland Brown.
What were
I
you
was
thinking?
thinking like football player dude or something.
Nope, just some mellow black guy from Family Guy. That's him. No. I really should stop taking my baths during Peter's shenanigans.
We still don't have an answer from Evan. So how about Kenneth Mars?
The next day was the big race. Finally, the world would find out who was the fastest race car. When the flag dropped, the fans went wild. After the first left turn, Francesco came out ahead. He showed off his new treaded tires. Perhaps Lightning has taught Francesco too well. Lightning couldn't help but smile. Oh, that's nice. He's kicking my ass. Nice.
I'm looking. Randall from Monsters Inc.
Pass.
Dale from King of the Hill.
The racers each entered the Monza arena and made a pit stop. As Lightning zoomed out of the pits, he heard his friends and fans cheering for him. Then the flashing of some cameras distracted him. Suddenly, Lightning remembered what Francesco said about focusing on himself and doing his best. Lightning looked straight ahead, and he took the lead. Next.
Dobby.
Oops. That's stupid, Dobby.
I love Dobby.
As the two cars crossed the finish line, the crowd gasped. "Ka-chow!" yelled Lightning. "I won!" "You mean ciao, Bella?" cried Francesco. "Francesco won!" "Oh, stupid Lightning." The race cars and the fans looked at the judges. The crowd gasped again. The race was a tie!
Next.
Next is...
And we got two left here.
Alf.
Back in the pit garage, the cars tried to figure out what to do about the tie. Suddenly, Francesco shouted, "No more talk! Talk is slow! What do? We race!" "Right," Lightning agreed. "We'll race again in Radiator Springs." "That's a great idea," Mater said excitedly. "We can have a tractor tipping contest." Francesco rolled his eyes. "Tractor tipping is boring. You know the leaning tower of tires? Francesco put the leaning in it. Francesco can tip anything." Final voice for this final story.
Tiny Tiger?
Lightning laughed. "Come on! That's one to Radiator Springs has to guzzle down oil." The two fastest cars in the world zoomed away together to race again another day.
That's Tiny Tiger?
Yes, from Crash Bandicoot.
Thank you, Tom, for that
Yes.
sponsored suggestion. Another one.
And we got time for one more reading of How I Met My Monster. Do we have a reply from Evan yet?
Not that I have seen.
He's really making a stand here. I just wanted to contribute there.
He did. He said, "I'm just sponsoring for fun."
And that's cool. That's cool. You'll hear no complaints from me. So, first voice on this final reading of How I Met My Monster is going to be what?
Let's try some Steve Irwin.
Oh, jeez.
I love Steve Irwin. I miss Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
One night, when I reached under the bed for my truck, I found this note instead. "Monsters, meet here for final test. Z." Ha! My parents were obviously trying to trick me into staying in bed. I didn't believe in monsters. Crikey, there's one now.
Next.
Goofy.
So I crumpled the paper, grabbed my truck, and zipped over to my garage. I heard some creaking and rumbling, but I wasn't scared. Our house was always making noises at night.
Stewie.
But then a voice under the bed scolded, "Stop that stomach rumbling! The child will hear you!" Voices? Stomach rumbling? If this was part of my parents' trick, it was pretty cool! I peered into the inky blackness. 5 pairs of eyes blinked back. "See? Now he knows we're here," the voice sighed. "One of you has broken monster rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise." This is no trick, I thought. There are monsters under my bed. Next.
Luigi.
A long-necked yellow monster slid out, followed by 4 little monsters. Rule number 2, the yellow one instructed. Never block the bed. All of you, scoot over. Hey, I realized that one must be the teacher. I sat up straight, mesmerized by the monster parade shuffling across my bedroom. Oh, and look at this. He's holding up a number 2 because he's a Luigi.
Are you guys having trouble hearing me?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Let me know if you guys are having trouble.
Can they not hear you?
I don't know. One person said they couldn't hear me. So
Oh,
trying to
dear.
find out if that was just a one-time thing or I don't know. How about Charming from Shrek 2?
Oh, dear.
That's better, the teacher monster said. Access to the bed is clear. Now, who knows rule number 3? The purple monster teetered on his tiptoes and gurgled. Get the child into bed. That's correct, Genghis. And how would you do that? Well, Mr. Z, I would roar my scariest roar. All right, give it a go. Genghis took a deep breath, opened his mouths, and let out a tiny blurp. Next.
Willy Wonka, Johnny Depp.
Stomach rumbling would have a better chance of getting me into bed than that funny little noise, I laughed. The child is right, said Mr. Z, shaking his head. That was not sufficiently scary, Genghis. I am sorry, you're not the best monster for this child. Then there was some creaking as Genghis slunk beneath the bed.
I'm writing things really quickly. I have been almost the entire time. And I wrote that as Willy Wonky.
Yeah, that works for him, too.
It really does. Oh, I love Johnny Depp, but that was not a sexy character.
Next.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Before I could investigate where Genghis had gone, Mr. Z asked, Now, who wants to try to get the child into bed? The orange monster looked at the ceiling, and the red monster looked at the floor. Only the green monster looked at me. First, he stared at my toes and started drooling. Then he took a step toward me, and I heard that rumbling noise again. Next.
Han Solo.
I sprang into bed so he couldn't get my feet. Mr. Z blinked. Very unconventional, Gabe. Your stomach gurgles seem to be what this child needs. What I needed was to make sure this little Gabe monster didn't eat my toes. Next.
You could do that one for longer. It's okay.
Do you need a minute?
It's going to take a lot more than a minute. Anyway.
Oh my.
Love me some Harrison Ford, man. Okay. Can you do Templeton from 1973's Charlotte's Web?
Pass.
Okay. The Monarch?
The Monarch? Pass. Sorry.
Zoidberg.
Right, you 3. The child is now in bed, said Mr. Z. As every monster knows, the ultimate objective is rule number 4. Who can tell me what that is? The orange monster bounced and squeaked. Keep the child in bed until it falls asleep. Correct, Morgan. And how should we accomplish that? Shadow puppets, she squeaked again. Gabe whistled through his nose and I snickered, but Mr. Z said, Interesting idea, try it, why not? Next.
That was terrible. I mean, it was good impression, but just terrible voice. Very unpleasant. Brent.
Speaking of unpleasant.
Morgan hopped onto my night table and flailed her arms near my lamp. Silly shadows blubbered onto the wall, and a cloud of fluffy fur tickled my nose. Achoo! I peed a little.
Oh my god.
Morgan, stop at once, Mr. Z ordered. You're supposed to scare him, not make him sneeze. I'm sorry, but you're no match either. Morgan's arms flopped to her sides as she scuttled under my bed. There was some more creaking, and Morgan was gone. She was tweeting.
Next.
Oh, this was a suggestion from earlier that we didn't get to. Don Knotts.
After all that sneezing, I really needed a tissue. Suddenly, a huge shadow of uncut claws loomed across my room. Awesome, I thought. And kind of scary. I froze in place, Andy. Next.
Oh, some good suggestions are coming up. Dudley Do Right. I love that voice.
Don't worry, Lana. I'll save you. Oh no, green.
There you go. And off to the restroom she goes.
We've been watching a lot of Smallville. He does that. It cracks me up every time. Because it's so true.
Every single episode. Don't worry, Lana. I'll come and save you. Oh no, meteor rocks. Get a better plot device.
Powerful performance, Gabe, said Mr. Z. But do either of you see a problem? Oh, I know, chirped the red monster. The child is out of bed again. Correct, Abigail, Mr. Z continued. And one of you must get him back in. Let's revisit rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise.
Next.
Jar Jar. That wasn't even me that suggested it. I love Jar Jar.
All at once, poof! The monsters, they saw vanish. Then I heard more rumbling. Were they hiding in my closet, making noises to scare me? No, it was only Misa's stomach grumbling. All this excitement was making Misa hungry.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I like what I like. I like Jar Jar. I like Han and Chewie. I like the Ewoks, and that's about it.
It's Jar Jar's fault, you understand.
I don't believe that. He got a bad rap. I love Jar Jar.
Anywho, next place.
Looking at the list. My list is very, very wonky. Tarantula from Beast Wars.
Tarantulas.
Oh, Tarantulas. I'm sorry. Willy Wonky. I'm just screwing.
I tiptoed past the closet and peeked out the door. So far, so good. No monsters. Then I stepped over the squeaky stair and sneaked down to the kitchen. As I reached into the pantry, I heard some chattering behind me. I sure hoped it wasn't that toe-loving Gabe.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
I yanked open the fridge. Ha! It wasn't Gabe. It was just the red monster shivering on the shelf. Found you, I laughed. And your little dog, too.
Glinda, the Good Witch.
Nice try, Abigail, said Mr. Z. But this isn't working. You're not the right monster for this child. But Mr. Z, she whined, it's not my fault he's not scared of me. I'm sorry, Abigail. Let's go. Abigail clunked behind Mr. Z, and then I heard the creaking, and I knew she was gone.
I'm not in the Star Wars community, so I like Jar Jar. So, meh.
Why do I date
Trekkie,
you?
Baby.
Star trekking across the universe.
Bill Murray.
I am the captain of the Starship Enterprise. Captain Kirk, this is Spock. Please step on the transporter. Bill Murray, pass.
Pennywise.
I grabbed some crackers and headed upstairs, wondering if Gabe was gone too. I munched all the way down the hall, then went into the bathroom to brush my teeth again. When I opened the door a minute later, Gabe was definitely not gone. He was right there, and he was huge! Aha! 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 And yes,
Wobbly.
he floated. Bobby Wobbly. I'm sorry, baby. Poor Carrie Elwes.
I know. Romantic icon. What the hell, man? Another classic example of needs to fire his agent.
I charged into my room and I slammed the door. When I leaped into bed, I knew my toes were safe. Whew! I was surprised to hear breathing under my bed. Ragged breathing and stomach rumbling. Hey, kid, Gabe growled. Good to see ya. I pulled my covers up tight. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. Do you like drool? I peeked over the edge of the bed. Great news had spread savagely from underneath.
Give me a little Wesley.
Then the bed quivered and Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. Well, this looks like quite promising, Mr. Z noted. When I heard some more creaking, I knew Mr. Z was gone. I was alone with Gabe.
Inigo Montoya.
Gabe loomed over my bed and began sharpening his uncut claws on my bedpost. How would you get so big? I gasped. Rule number 5, my friend, he explained. People food makes monsters grow, so thanks for the crackers. Got any toes I can munch? I scrunched my feet so Gabe couldn't get them. This was way better than playing with rocks. My name is Gabe the Monster. I live under your bed. Prepare to die.
Bravo. Miracle Max.
No toys tonight, but you can have this, I offered, tossing a stuffed monster off the bed. Gabe dove for it. His soft, comforting snorts filled the room as he snuffled the toy. I shivered.
I agree, Raven. I agree.
What?
You should have started with As You Wish.
I apologize. Sometimes I do not think on my toes like that.
You are right. It is Westley, not Wesley. I left out the T.
Westley?
Westley, yes.
I don't think I ever caught that.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I always heard Wesley. But anyway, next.
That's because people don't say Westley.
No, they don't.
They can say it quickly, so it sounds like Wesley.
We got 2 voices left. What are they going to be?
2 voices left. Okay, let's see. Tigger.
Actually, I was about to make a suggestion. Since we're on kind of the Princess Bride kick, shall we close with Andre the Giant and the Sicilian?
Yes. Yes. I'm down.
Kid, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled.
Gabe was the monster for me. His snorts and oohs were perfect. I yawned, then shivered again. I was asleep in no time. Inconceivable!
Yay!
Da-da-da-da.
I could not think of his name. All I could think of was Wallace Shawn, which is the opposite of what usually happens because I know none of the voice actors, none of their actors' names.
So, did we all have a good time?
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, woo!
Yes, we had a good time. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you all for joining me. I'll be holding another stream for all my patrons who are currently in here today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. when I'll be reading the other two books, which are I Need My Monster and Hey, That's My Monster, where apparently our young hero has to contend with sharing his monster with his little sister. Ba-ba-bum!
I'm pretty sure it's Vinzini, not Vizzini. I think there's an extra N in it.
I don't know.
Vinzini.
I don't know his name either, right? To everyone, he's just Mr. Inconceivable.
The Sicilian, yeah.
Or the Sicilian, yes.
But anybody in here who's not already a patron, there is still time to pledge as little as $1 a month, and you get access to all of the patron exclusive content. And next month, Storytime with Bobsheaux might have some Storytime with Raven in it.
It just might. Just throwing that out there, you know.
Maybe even showing off some of my masks that I get for Mask of Raven.
I like it when my lady shows off. So, I will see you guys later and have a good night.
Thanks for coming, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you all for coming.
Bye.
See you later.